Hello, hello. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. I hope everybody had a great weekend. How's everyone doing? Okay, so I don't know if anybody had a look at this morning's breakdown for the week. I did share some trade ideas here. It looks like we had one of those ideas playing out where we had a retest of this sort of structure right here, and then we got those sells. Essentially, I never took this position. I don't trade London, but laid this out as a potential idea for London session, looking for sells if we could retest 1925. And you had formed some lows here right before London open, so this is a position that you could potentially have looked at for that move back down into the lows once you broke back below 1925 right there. You can see that 15-minute essentially just a fake out. A previous 4-hour nice and bearish. Overall still more bearish with a stronger dollar, and I would like to look for the sells today, but it's looking funky. I think we could actually see some deeper pullbacks here. Might even see a scenario where if this 4-hour candle is closing bullish, we may even adapt to some buys here in this session. So Friday's candle closed bullish. That's no surprise. If we look back a little bit further to the left here, you'll notice that I went over all of this in the weekly breakdown. If you guys would like to have a look at that, I did post it up this morning. But through this duration where we were trending down really nicely on the intraday time frames, with plenty of minor pullbacks giving you opportunities to get in there for those sells, you would notice that all of these bullish candles here through this bearish trend, so right here, and right at the bottom, all of those bullish candles just so happened to be a Friday. After we saw the rejections of 1950 and even the day before FOMC, we had these daily candles starting to close bearish. So Friday we closed bullish. I don't think that's too much of a concern. I would still look for us to be more bearish here, but it's choppy on the weekly. Difficult scenario on the weekly there where we could get a wick fill to the upside, or that could be a rejection to the upside. We are actually just ranging right now. Looking at the daily, from a higher time frame perspective, there's not too much direction right now, but what I would like to use to my advantage is this dollar strength. Understanding that we have a stronger dollar, generally speaking, that means that we will be more bearish on gold. Not always, so that's why we adapt. So we're back at this 1925 level. We're getting some breaks above here. Probably best at this point to wait for the 4-hour candle to close. Like I say, if this 4-hour candle is closing bullish, with Friday's candle being bullish as well, you may find that the NYSE volume gives you a little bit of a move to the upside. But just need to be very careful as we move into 1928.5 with all these rejections here, and then 1930 also just a rejection zone and key level. If we could get below this, you know, this is looking choppy. This is more of like a range just forming here. It is a pretty decent range, about 50 pips. 50 to 60 pips. And you may find that if we could reject this zone, we could start to head back down to those London lows. But I think right here, this may be a safer idea. If we could break below this minor support, get a minor retest on the 5 minute, then look for those sells back down to the lows. Even safer trade ideas is just waiting for breaks below these London lows. No worries, Michelangelo. How are you doing? What's up, Nico? Yeah, so we may even come and take out these highs here from London session, and then possibly move into this rejection zone. So maybe fake out about 15 pips above this London high. Come and grab a bit more liquidity from this 28.5 or even 1930. And then, you know, can look for rejections off of here. Yeah, it's a little bit choppy here today. Not in a rush here. What is NYC, Nico? Actorino, hello. Yes. I said, what is NYC? Why am I allowed to shake? I squatted 160 for 4 today. So I'm allowed to shake. 160 pounds. Fucking tank. Jokes. What is 160 kgs in pounds? £350. Not bad. What's up, corpse? Yeah, so today's leg day, so it is actually I'm allowed a cheat meal after legs. But this weekend I was away, so you know, I did the best I could with food. But I enjoyed myself, you know, time away with family and that. Had some nice stuff. So I'm just having a little, what is this thing called? Cafe Mocha Freeze from Seattle. It's my cheat meal. Is anybody in any trades? How's it going, guys? Anybody in any trades? Anybody take any trades earlier today? Anybody get this idea from London session for the sales? It was pretty short-lived, but that's London session, right? 30 pips though. Nothing today. If I had to be honest, I could probably close my chart right now and just call it a day. I don't really like what's going on here. But anything can happen at NYC. Anything. You know, we could get a bullish candle on the 4-hour. NYC pushes us into 1930, and then you get a setup on the 5-minute and you reject hard, and then we end up back at the London lows by the end of the session. You know, so I'll stick around for NYC, see if anything sets up. Mocha freezes the one. Bro, this thing is flippin' beautiful. But I did get the sugar-free one at least. What the hell, copy? What news do we have this week? I think we got GDP on Thursday. Thursday we got GDP. Core durable goods Wednesday. Nothing today, but we do have this Euro Central Bank President Lagarde speaking. You know, this could bring some volatility. So it's probably best to be waiting for the 4-hour candle close. Goodness me. Yeah, probably best to wait for the 4-hour candle close. We have the ECB president speaking right as the new 4-hour candle starts. So we can see what sets up, wait for NYC. You know, if this brings any volatility, then hopefully that will follow through in NYC and we get a nice setup after 3:30. But right now, nothing amazing. Pushing up here into the daily highs. What's up, Storm? 4-hour candle without a bottom wick. It's got a bottom wick. Here on Oranda at least. Let's have a look at forex.com. This is from long ago. Oh, but those trade ideas are still valid. And it looks like those bars played out really well. But let's remove all of this. Yeah, so from a different broker and a different perspective, previous 4-hour candle closed bullish. And you've now gone and filled this wick. Overall, just ranging here. So if you would want bars, you would want to be breaking and holding above this resistance zone. And you do have quite a few issues here, 1928.5, 1930. So I would say waiting for breaks above 1930 is going to give you some cleaner ideas here for buys, possibly to correct some of this move from FOMC. I don't see the bars, but you know, if we're getting breaks above 1930, then we can look for something like that. Based off of the daily and the 4-hour time frames, it's not looking like a bad idea. But safer buyers here, definitely above 1930 for me at least. And then, considering this is a range, if you do get rejections here at the top of the range, could look for the sells coming back down. And then more sells below this low from London session. So those are some trade ideas for this session here today. Quick question. What's your reasoning for trading in dollars versus having a XAUUSD trading account? Only scammers trade with XAUUSD. I don't want to keep my money in rands. Yeah, only pussies trade in XAUUSD. It's only a joke, guys. It's only a joke. But genuinely, if you can keep a, let's say you're not from America, right? You're not keeping the majority of your money in dollars. Dollar just being world reserve currency, it is viewed as a safe haven when shit hits the fan. So I would rather have a trading account in dollars, just for the pure safety of it. You know, I've got money in rands. I don't need any more money in rands. It's not really a good, fiat currency is not necessarily a great store of wealth. But if you're going to keep it in anything, why not keep it in the best? You know, as rands depreciate, in trading you literally have an option to earn dollars. Why would you want to earn rands? It's actually like extra income if you're earning dollars. Because if you deposit $100, then let's say the rand depreciates a bit more. Now your $100 went from, when you deposited it, from being like 1,500 rand to now 2,000, and you haven't even traded the account. The rand was just getting devalued the whole time. So that's partly why. But yeah, just rand. No. Earn dollars, spend rands. We're seeing some rejections here from these highs from London session, but it's choppy. Hourly really doesn't look amazing. 4-hour is, you know, that's looking like a pretty strong bullish candle, but you're still below this resistance. You've got a lot of issues moving up. Although what is in line with the buyers is the daily candle there, Friday candle being bullish. I still think here, for me, safer buys above 1930. If you can get a break and retest above 1930 with enough volume after NYC, sure, I'm open to the buys, but other than that, not really. Earn dollars, spend rounds. It just makes sense. I've earned enough rands in my life. I want dollars now. Okay, so your 4-hour candle closed bullish there. Like I say, still below this resistance zone. And looking to the left, I'll just highlight this general zone and you'll be able to see it here. But all of these rejections, it's going to be very tough to be buying into this area. If you see some sort of pullback here back down to maybe 1925, man, it's tough. It's tough for buyers. I mean, I could see us coming into 1928.5. So what I was saying is if you could get like a pullback to 1925 or even 1923.8, something like this, it kind of gives you enough range to work with to move up. Just looking for those bars in line with the 4-hour candle there. But it's very tricky. It's very, very tricky. I think regardless of the 4-hour being bullish, if you can break below 23.8, you could potentially still see something like this, where we come back down into these lows from London. But then you just have to be careful of rejections. Because this is just a range. Gonna wait for NYC. Looks like there was a Fed speaker, but they weren't listed here on Forex Factory. I just want to have a look at Twitter and see if there's any headlines from this Fed Goolsby and Lagarde, the ECB speaker. I don't think I'll ever start calling Twitter X. Twitter is Twitter. Sorry, Elon. So this Fed Goolsby was speaking like 20 minutes ago. He did highlight one of the headlines here is a soft landing is possible, but there are still lots of risks. And that looks like when we had that bit of a push up here, you know, I don't think it's necessarily going to change the outlook for the session. I think this could just be possibly grabbing liquidity for these sales. Like I say, for me, for the buyers here, for safer buy ideas, I need to see us actually breaking above 1930. It feels like rates will have to stay higher for longer, he says. Higher for longer than markets had expected. For anybody who doesn't know, that would be taken as hawkish. So go research hawkish and dovish. Hawkish is generally good for a currency. So it should bring strength to the dollar. You can't change the inflation target until the target is reached. So it's quite steadfast on getting that inflation down. Also taken as hawkish. The risk of inflation staying too high is a bigger risk. Yeah. Same old, same old. Nice hawkish statements there from that Fed speaker. I don't see anything too dovish or anything that should like really lead us to think that we may get the buys in this session. So let's see if these cells set up DXY moving. Yeah, DXY forming new highs here. Haven't been at these price levels on the DXY since when? Since March. So yeah, been about 6 months since we saw these levels on the DXY, so very strong dollar here. Just continuing to create new highs. You know, you could still see some profit taking at these highs. We need to just be aware of that. And be aware that deeper pullbacks are normal. But for now, you know, just playing this dollar strength is probably your best bet. You don't want to bet against the dollar and be forcing buys, especially long-term buys. You know, taking buys in a session like short-term buys, looking for 20, 30 pips, even 50 pips depending on the session. But don't get taken away and think that you're going to take swing trades from 1925 all the way back up to 1950 right now, just because the 4-hour candle closed bullish. You know, it's possible, like I say, the dollar and gold can move up together, but right now I'm still not seeing that happening. I don't think that there's enough fear in the market for that event to start taking place. I think gold prices are still suppressed by a stronger dollar at this point in time. What's up, Mr. Wayne? Anybody in any trades? Nothing's lining up for me just yet. Euro short, nice. Wow. Nice. Yeah, so I believe that some of Lagarde's statements have been taken as more dovish. So, since our last hearing, the ECB has made further progress in its efforts to bring inflation back down to 2%. Where did I see this? Based on our current assessment, we consider that our rates have reached levels that if maintained for a sufficiently long duration, will make a substantial contribution to a timely return of inflation to our target. So basically saying that, you know, markets shouldn't necessarily expect any more rate hikes from the ECB anytime soon, and that will be taken as more dovish, and this will lead to further euro weakness. So you can just you know, from a technical basis, I guess these sells maybe made sense. You do look nice and bearish here, but just having that understanding and understanding the difference between hawkish and dovish and how markets perceive what these speakers say, what these central bank speakers say, is quite important. If you are trading euro dollar today, just to have that little bit of insight you know, could have definitely helped you identify those nice sells there. But either way, nice, you're in them. Lovely trade. So I reckon here waiting for NYC is going to be the play. And if we get this 30-minute candle closing nice and bearish like this, or even better, closing below 1923.8, then next 30 minutes at NYC, if we could get a pullback to 1925, we are looking golden. So to me, this looks like this momentum is coming in. We've moved back up into basically the daily highs, failed to create any new highs for the day. Seeing rejections, starting to see this clean downside move playing out. There were no real confirmations for me at any point in time here. I think this 30-minute candle is going to be the confirmation that I need to say, okay, these sells are looking good. You know, right now the 4-hour candle doesn't look amazing, and that's why I don't want to rush anything here. But like I say, if NYC can give me that 30-minute bearish candle closing, let's say at least engulfing the previous 30 minutes, and then NYC gives you that little pullback to retest at least 1925, then I could look for something like that. I would actually like us to clear this 1923.8 level and see the 30-minute candle close below here. So we could even see something like this. But it would be ideal for me to rather see that retest of 1925. So even something like that. Hey, shot Nico. No worries, bro. You know, sometimes I just talk about things and take it for granted that, like, you know, some of this stuff is just foreign to newer traders or anybody who's new on the stream. And so sometimes I just like to stop and, you know, make sure that everybody's on board with what's going on. You know, I don't want to just be saying, oh, this headline was taken as hawkish or dovish, and then nobody even knows what that means. Of course, everybody should do their own due diligence, go research this stuff, and, you know, do your own research. Like I say, it is your own due diligence at the end of the day. But if I can stop and explain it for a second, then no worries. But also, chat, if there's anything you don't understand, you know, let me know in the chat, and I'll stop and I'll explain either what this means or why I'm looking at this, whatever the case. 10 minutes to NYC. Let's not rush anything. I do think that NYC is going to give us nice opportunities here. Even if we do start to push now, let's say we start pushing to the downside, NYC could easily give you that pullback to 25 still. Won't lie, this looks like a little bit of a biltong here on the 5. But with this support right here, I'd rather wait for NYC. A biltong is just this setup here where if, for instance, we're moving bearish and then you get a weak bullish candle. So here, this candle was bearish, weak bullish candle, next candle breaks the low. And then that's basically your entry. So here it would be similar idea. But maybe because we have a support here waiting for this 5 to close below. But like I say, with NYC 7 minutes away, it's probably best to just wait. Wait for that new 30-minute to wick up to 1925. This is what I like about with NYC. You know, you've got so much information to work with. You've got highs for the day being formed, lows for the day. You've got 4-hour candles closing. There's so much data to be used when coming into NYC, and you also know that there's no real noise in terms of news. You know, you very seldom have news after NYC. Sometimes you have some PMI data. Maybe you'll have a speaker. But yeah, generally your news is at 2:30. So once the dust has settled from that, things generally clear up at NYC. And we often see much cleaner moves after NYC as well. But you've still got that nice volume coming off New York session. Thinking to even just relabel the stream as an NYC stream. Baba Gold. Maybe. You know, if we open up at NYC and we just start pushing, it is what it is. But I would like to wait for this pullback. We may open up, just drive straight back down into these London lows, then reject the lows. You know, that's not really what I want to see here. I want to see this nice pullback NYC, get a nice setup on the 5 minutes. Then I'm happy. $25.3. That was clean. That first bottom was clean. So we're pushing down here. Like I say, no worries for me. This 5 minute also has no top wick. Could easily get a nice steep top wick on the new 30 at NYC. Sometimes what you'll find is when a candle leaves no top wick, for instance, right here, this 5, we are very bearish. We've got nice volume to the downside at least. If this candle leaves no top wick, sometimes what you'll see is the next candle, or maybe in the next couple candles, price will pull back up to create this high, and then we'll continue to move bearish. So a perfect example of this with NYC on the 30-minute time frame. You'll see right here where the interest rates came out unchanged. You dropped there because the statement was more hawkish. The next 30-minute wicked up, created that high right there for the previous 30, and you would have seen on the lower time frames that you had nice rejections, and that was a possible entry opportunity. Okay, anyway. Okay, NYC open. Beautiful 30-minute candle close on the below this support here. Looking for us to come back down into these lows from London session. Like I say, I would need to see a minor pullback here at least. If I don't get it, I don't get it, and then that's just how it goes. But that would be my setup, and if my setup doesn't come, then I don't take a trade. Even if I wanted to be taking sells on the break of the previous 30-minute low, this wouldn't be ideal just based off of the fact that we've got no top wick on this current 30, and being NYC, I do believe there's a high probability you at least come and get the top wick for this 30-minute candle. If you're holding sells from higher up here above 1925, that shouldn't be of too much concern. But if you're looking for entries down here, don't rush it. What's up, Danny Trades? About to get some chickens here. About to get some chickens. Could very well be the top wick for the 30-minute. We've just wicked up into this previous support. But at this point, with quite a clean move down already, I would want to see some structure being formed on the 5-minute. So I still want that pullback to 1925. TXY is on one. I think this is a new yearly high for the dollar. Yeah, dollar's making new highs for the year in the session. It's crazy. Okay, so you've closed a weak bullish candle here right at NYC. Look, if you break this low, you've only got about 10 pips into the lows from London, but that could be the play right there. You'll see on the 1 minute at least, this is basically a break and retest of this support. I'm just contemplating this idea of break of the previous 5 minute low. You know, just having a look here if it would be worth the risk to reward. That's a more aggressive entry. Like I say, I wanted to see better structure being formed on the 5 minute or deeper pullbacks to 1925. Looks like we could still get that, but if you do break the previous 5 minute low here, I think we'll come down into these lows from London session quite easily, but it's a very small range. You see, whereas if you were to wait for that pullback to 25, it just gives you much better range here to work with. So, you know, you could at least get like maybe a 1 to 2 right there versus, yeah, that doesn't look ideal. Like I say, what we can see sometimes is price pull back up to a previous candle with no top wick and then reject. So you could get that scenario here where you get the top wick for this previous 5 minute candle, might not get the pullback all the way into 1925, but let's see this candle. If we can close bullish on this 5 minute, next 5 minute close is bearish, then we're looking decent. Last few minutes of the 15-minute candle as well. You know, even if this 15 closes bullish, I'm not too concerned. I'm still looking for these sells. I'm concerned that that 15 does give you a little bit of a top wick. Because if this 5 is closing like this, then I do want to look at taking something like this. So waiting to see how this 5-minute candle closes, waiting to see how the new 15 opens up, if you can get a little bit of a top wick before breaking this 5-minute low. Just gotta wait. So yeah, I mean, that's a pretty clean break and retest of this support at 23.8. You just need to see this 5 closing bearish. To confirm that we are forming resistance here. So support turned to resistance. Simple stuff. Okay, so this 5 minutes about to close. Just looking for a top wick. Next 5 then breaks the lows. And then I'm looking for something like that. Just need to see a little bit of a top wick being formed. We look pretty good here. Okay, perfect. So if we break these lows at 22.9, then I'm looking to get involved here. Looking for us to come down back into 1916.5 as a final target. Nope, never broke those lows. So we broke the previous 5-minute low, but you'll see that the previous 5 had a low that was like right there. So I'm just waiting for that low to be broken. I don't want to rush it considering we could still get taps into 25. I think that should give me time to set a sell stop here. I'm gonna set a sell stop at 22.8. And then my stop loss, I'm looking to actually keep the stops above 1925. For about 25 pips. But then you've got a really nice management point here. So if you're banking on a 25 pip stop loss, 25, 26 pips, and then, you know, let's say you get activated, then if we do come back and break this high, once you're actually in the trade, you know, you can manage quite nicely there at negative 14 pips. So I'm not in here just yet. Like I say, if we can even pull back up to 25, we might even get better entries here. Yeah, Danny trades potentially. Maybe not necessarily like that. I don't think that would necessarily be a signal for buyers, but yeah, you could see either moves up or consolidation if that were to happen. But you know, at the end of the day, like I say, we're not trading the DXY, we're just using it as confluence. So if there's a setup for sells on gold and overall we can see that we have a stronger dollar, you know, then it's a pretty, don't worry too much about the DXY. We know that we have a stronger dollar here. If you got a setup for sales and you have range, pull the trigger. Okay, so that 5 closed bullish. I'm gonna wait here. So I had a sell stop set there. I'll actually delete that sell stop. Looks like we're gonna get that push back up into 25. See if we can see rejections there. only sells today. At least in my plan, only sells today. Unless we get breaks above 1930. But of course, that's my plan. You're more than welcome to do whatever you want. Okay, tapping 25. Also only got 8 minutes here for this hour candle to close. Overall, it's a bit of a choppy session. So you don't really want to rush anything here. With the 4 hour being bullish in line with the daily, you know, discussed some possibilities here of seeing NYC push price up into this 28.5, 1930. But it's just very difficult for me to take advantage of those bars. You know, it's not really enough range. I'm not so hungry that I need to take trades into a rejection zone. I'm rather gonna just call it a day if we see this 30-minute candle closing back above 1925, because that's choppy. That's really ugly. Look at the hour candle. Big bottom wick. No, it's not it. It's not it, it's shit. So last week of the month as well. Last week of the quarter as well. So let's take it slow this week. You know, especially on a Monday, if nothing's lining up here, then just gonna take it easy. I mean, for the day, we've just been in like a 50 pip range. So nothing too exciting here today. Yeah, between 1928 and 1930, you've got a lot of issues there. All of those rejections. You know, so if you do come up into this zone within this session, be careful of rejections here. I would even be open to potential sells off of this area, but I think it's going to be too late for me to take advantage of anything, and I'm not too sure if the volume will be there. Also, this range is just disgusting. Yeah, chat. I don't even think it's worth waiting 4 minutes for this candle to close. Oh, but let's do it. 3 minutes. Who knows? Oh, Danny. You know what? I don't want you to like look at it that way though. You can look at it how you like, but just because me or someone else is looking for sales doesn't mean that you can't take bars. You know, when markets are ranging, as long as you're patient, you could get away with just about anything. You know, if we go back to for instance, a week like this was actually more than a week. This was like 2 weeks. You know, for me, the way I'm trading now, I mean, I could have taken bars or sells on any given day, but I'm sure that there were some people who were um, overall more bearish at some point and saying only sells while price sat in this range, while some were saying only bars. Now, you could really be buying or selling within this range, you know, but as long as you're waiting for price to come down into the lows of the range for those bars, and taking sells off of their resistance. I mean, that's very straightforward, but does it really need to be any more complicated? All I'm saying is some people will be very stuck on a single idea, whereas especially when trading lower time frames, you can adapt to bars or sells on any given day. I think it's good to have a like main bias, but be able to adapt. Okay, so hourly closed bearish there. I don't know, I still see a wick fall to the downside here, but that 30-minute was pretty ugly. 5-minute bearish. I'm in a bar two, pretty bullish for the day. Seeing you in a sell was lowering my confidence on this buy. You saw what you saw. You know, listen to price now, don't listen to me. At this point, it's between you and the price action. Don't let me or anyone come between you and the price action. You've got your plan, you've got your perspective of the market. Maybe you saw something that I didn't see, or maybe there's something in your plan which is just completely different from the way that I trade. And I mean, I could see us coming into 1928, see us coming into 1930. Just part of my plan. I don't see any ways to execute on those bars. I think it is very risky to be buying into these rejections. You know, you created highs here for the day. We pushed up to these highs at New York Open, failed to create any new highs. It's just tough. But like I say, just follow the price action. For now, your 30-minute candle close bullish. Yeah, let you do your thing. Do your thing. If I'm not stopping profit, cool. Then you're chilling. Okay, so if we look at the 30-minute here, you can see that we had this resistance formed at around 1926 through Asian session. We respected that resistance there, saw a rejection on the new 4-hour. NYSE gave you a pullback into this rejection, so I wanted to see the pullback into 1925, pulled back a little bit deeper, and like I say, we could get this wick fall to the downside. So I didn't really look at that resistance like that at 1926 earlier on. You know, this was just tough. It was a tough day. But maybe if you can close and hold below 1925, maybe even waiting for this 15. But what I like to see is that we've had a rejection off of these highs from here, from earlier today. So we rejected those highs, started to see that bearish move. We formed new lows for the session. NYC gave you a pullback to a previous key level, this 1926. And now you're seeing those rejections. So this 5 minute wasn't the cleanest confirmation, but that's kind of what I would be looking for. But you know, on a day like this, you don't need to be too aggressive. So maybe even waiting for the 15 to close bearish here. And then next 15. If we can close below 1925, next 15 I can look for something like this. You know, if we can close around here, it gives you more than enough range for the wick pull on the hour. Yeah, I was thinking about this new 5 minute even, closing back below 25 here. As you break the previous 5 minute low, you've got nice volume on these candles. You may start to fill the rest of this previous hourly wick. Goodness me. Pineapples are like, you know, pineapples and trading is just like pineapples and pizza, bro. It doesn't really, it's not optimal. It can work. You know, some people love it, some people hate it, but overall it's not the greatest thing. Yeah, chat. Hey, this was a slightly tricky day, but nice study session for NYC. You know, so we can see that waiting out here, you got that deeper pullback. Confirmations were not ideal, but what I saw here was, like I say, we saw the rejections off of this resistance at 1926. So you could see it more clearly on a 30-minute rejections there at 1926. And then I thought to wait for the 15 to close bearish here, but you know, normally in this time I'm trading a 5 minute, and this is why, right? There's just so much volume that waiting for a 15 close and you're missing out on 20-30 pips. And it's okay to miss out. You know, I'm going to take notes from today, but for me this is pretty stock standard NYC. Just overall, it's not the greatest market conditions. It's pretty rangy. If you have taken anything, if you've been taking sales of this general resistance, do be careful as you come into the lows here from London session. You know, you can see for the day you didn't have a whole lot of volume. You may come into these lows and reject. Although overall we are more bearish here on gold, and I could easily see us coming into 1916.5. That's where I would have liked to have runner targets for positions here today. So if you've taken anything looking like this today, or if you took those initial rejections of 1926, you know, targeting the London lows looks great. Possibly looking for runners down to 1916.5. Yeah. Cool, so you've got the wick for 1 hour there. Like I say, suppose this just turned into a bit of a study session today. Not the greatest market conditions. I'm happy to be patient here today, first day of the week. No trades for me. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for joining. Take it easy. Cheers.